Okay, hello internet. Today we're going to do a data deep dive. And also if you're into soundboard videos like the one right above me, we're also going to be talking about that. Okay, so what I did was I logged into YouTube Analytics and I pulled up each soundboard video that I've uploaded to Humany in the last few months. And then on the right, I've plotted the audience retention graph across the 30 seconds of that video. And then I also wrote this short little Python script that will draw this bar graph of each of the 10 events. Now, if you're confused because you don't know what a soundboard video is, let me just give you a simple explanation. So for this video, it's just X saying the numbers 0 through 9.
0, 1.
And it's timed so that if you press the keys 0 through 9 on your keyboard, you will actually hear X saying that, like, those numbers themselves. So let me demonstrate by, I don't know, saying the digits of pi, 3.141592, you know that number. Let's give it a try.
3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 9, 2, 6, 5.
Okay, yeah, I think that gives you the idea. And I also don't want to reveal how many digits of pi I know, because I'm sure if I get to the limit of what I know, then someone in the comments is going to be like, oh, I know pi to 10 trillion digits. And I'll be like, yeah, you beat me. But yeah, you get the idea. So what I think is really fun about looking at the data is it gives us a sense of how many times the viewers are pressing each of those numbers. So, you know, the first off the bat impression you might get is that 0 is the most commonly pressed number because it has 205% retention. Now, first of all, what does that mean, 205% retention? It means that out of the 503,000 viewing sessions of this video, on average, the viewer watched through the beginning 2.05 times. So that means that, like, some of them probably just, like, skipped through the beginning and watched it, like, once. Other people might have, like, watched it 3 times. But when you average it all out, it comes to 2.05. Which actually means that that first clip of X saying
0
has been heard just over 1 million times. Because 503,000 times 205% is a little over 1 million. So that's interesting. But I don't think this means that it doesn't mean that 0 is the most popular number to press, obviously. Because I think it just sort of is a general trend that they're going to decrease over time, since you have to watch through the beginning before you can get to the end. So they're sort of monotonically decreasing in a very kind of predictable manner, except for the fact that 4 has more presses than 3. We have 149%, which beats 134% by 15. And that makes sense because 4 is a character on the show. So I'm guessing, you know, listeners wanted to hear X say 4 because it reminds them of BFB when X and 4 were co-hosting and talking to each other all the time. So to demonstrate what that would sound like,
4
was pressed more often than
3
or
5.
Yeah, 4 just stood out. And then as you go lower down, there's a little bit more random noise, but 5 was the least pressed, less than 6 or 7, which is interesting because 5, 6, and 7 are all like algebrailians that have showed up. But 8 is far and away the least pressed number.
8.
I don't know why.
9.
I'm going to say that 9 got higher pressage because he sings the song. He's not just like, 9! He's like, 9! So maybe, you know, people heard that, loved the singing so much that they had to press it again and listen a second time, and that brings the average up. So that's just what I'm going to conclude. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to go through all 7 soundboard videos that I've made so far and go through the data, because I think it's so interesting. But one last thing before we move on to the second soundboard video. So the title of this video is X Says Your IP Address. And obviously, like, you could press your IP address in here and reveal, like, stuff, like, info you should not be telling the public. But like, you know, if you just press it, no one's gonna know. But what I think is kind of funny is, like, in a very roundabout, indirect way, I kind of know, like, slight information about IP addresses from this graph. Like, I could conclude, like, oh, maybe a ton of IP addresses have 0s and 1s and 4s in them because there's peaks in this graph. And, like, that would be a super roundabout way of trying to hack into someone's computer or something. But, okay, you don't worry. You don't have to worry at all, even if you did that, because, like, there's just no way you can get any information about this graph. And, like, I think way more people were using this video to just have X say innocuous random numbers, like their birthday, or okay, maybe that's not innocuous, but maybe like pi or their favorite number, like 2,763. So yeah, you don't have to worry that I know any secret information you put into here, because I don't. I promise. Because like no order is also contained in here. So whether you press 3-4 or 4-3, I'm not going to know the difference. I don't know why I had to make such a long disclaimer. But anyway, this is fun. One thing I want you to remember is average percentage viewed was 102%. That's really good for a 30-second video, like to have over an average of 30 seconds watched. But I want to like see if that number is maintained for the other soundboard videos. Like maybe it'll go up, maybe it'll go down. Let's find out. We're moving on to Braceletty. Cheers for you. So yeah, my Python script has already drawn all the graphs. So all I have to do is just press right to move to the next image in my folder, which is called e1.png. And we have Braceletty, cheers for you. The audience retention graph is a lot smoother than this one. Like look at how spiky each one is. But that's because all these numbers are like 1 or 2 syllables. They're very short. In this one, Braceletty actually says not sentences, but like short phrases. Braceletty! Which, you know, those are longer phrases, so that kind of explains why these spikes are a little wider. But because of all that, let me just play a little bit more. Like, let's go to the end, maybe.
It's the best!
It's the best! Go!
I would die for!
Deserves eternal torment.
Deserves eternal torment! Okay, no, don't move on yet. Okay, so because this isn't just like 0 through 9, which is super predictable, we actually have like interesting quotes, which could be like higher or lower. Like this curve has a little bit more meaning. Actually, this curve is like super smooth. Obviously, the deserves eternal torment at the end is like the oddball that like really stands out. So it has significantly more presage than the ones before it, 124%. But what is also interesting is that go has the least at 81%. Go! So a one syllable word will not get you much presage. But other than that, like, it's kind of hard to really make out any other trend because it's just so smooth. Average percentage viewed is higher. It's 106, which makes sense because the quotes are a little longer, even though the heights of the peaks are actually lower. Because if we go back to X, every single one is over 100% if you only look at the peaks. But here, most of these half of them are under 100%. You know, from 4 through 8, it's under 100%. But because those peaks are wider, the average percentage viewed is longer. Okay, interesting stuff. Moving on to tennis ball.
Isaac Newton.
Tennis ball says some fun facts. And of course, Isaac Newton is such a smart historical figure, I had to include him. Okay. Oh, interesting. So, we have like very tall spikes again, but I'm surprised that the top 3 held like the high numbers quite long. Like for Braceletty, it was like Ice Cube Braceletty U. It's already down to 127, but for the first 3 of tennis ball, it stays up in the high 100s. Now your mom, I think it's because your mom is such a weird thing for tennis ball to say.
Your mom.
Your mom. Your dad. Whatever. I don't want to like feed into that. That, you know, I think people could press 2. Even if, like, they normally would be just jumping around to other parts of the video. So, I think that was an artificial boost. I think... Is anything interesting here? So, golf ball is the least pressed subject. Because, okay, this was the only soundboard video where I had 3 sections to the sentence. So, I had, like, a subject, an action, and an object. So, you'd have to combine one of each type to make a sentence. And out of the subjects, which are in blue, golf ball is by far the lowest. And then we have 3 verbs or actions. And I did discovered and invented, which are kind of like similar. I kind of wish I had done 2 verbs that were more different. But like I had just recently watched a documentary about like, oh, is math invented or discovered? And it's an interesting concept to determine. But the numbers show that people think discovery is more important. And spending all day thinking about it is more important than inventing things as well. And then for the objects, how to be a poo-poo face is obviously higher than the wall teleporter or the theory of gravity. I think we're going to see a common trend where the last clip is going to be slightly higher than like its surroundings. Because very often I would put like the weird deadpan humor at the end. That's like a personal choice I made, and that's gonna probably show up in the data as well. Okay, so that's cool. Interesting how the first 6 spikes are very spiky, and then the last 4 are a lot smoother. I think that's just because, like, these take longer to say. Like, discovered, that's 1 second. Invented, that's 1 second. But spends all day thinking about, that's like the full 3 seconds. We can actually hear it here.
Discovered.
Silence. There's so much silence.
Invented.
Very short and more silence.
Spends all day thinking about.
That was longer, less
the
silence.
Theory of gravity.
So that kind of explains the smoothness of this. The other thing I want to point out is that, like, even though I believe, like, oh, this data is technically not open to the public, so I'm showing you, like, insider info, you can actually see it by rolling over the progress bar on YouTube, and you can see this, like, faint white line graph that kind of moves up and down based on the audience retention. But it's not as accurate or, like, number-based as this one. So this here, or it's not as precise. So, like, this is giving you, like, more concrete information. Okay, let's move on to Pin Reveals Life Hacks. Okay, yeah, I have ads because I'm not logged in. I'm an incognito so that, like, you guys can't figure out my watch history. I mean, I'm watching totally normal stuff. It's just, like, I think it's weird when people, like, try to figure out what I'm watching based on, like, the red lines underneath videos. Okay, anyway, that doesn't matter. So, Pin's all about life hacks.
Come friends with me. If you're looking for the elusive Dream Island...
If you're looking for the elusive Dream Island, that's crazy! Okay, so there's a few interesting things about this soundboard video. One, I moved back to the 5 and 5, so I only have 2 sections for the sentences. I think that's just much simpler and easier to understand. 2, it's the first time I increased the soundboard length to 40 seconds instead of 30, which means each soundbite has 4 seconds instead of 3, and that's because a lot of the things Pin says are a lot longer, such as using a glue stick. Like, that one is like a multi-sentence thing, I think.
A simple glue stick and chainsaw will get the job done.
Yeah, that's such a long thing to say. A simple glue stick and chainsaw will get the job done! Like, that almost takes more than 3 seconds itself. So that's why I did that. But it means the average percentage viewed goes down. It's only 93, because I think there's, like, more downtime. Anyway, okay, looking at the numbers, we get the same kind of bathtub curve that, like, we saw with Braceletty. Here's a bathtub curve. And the top one, Become Friends, is down to 178. So, like, it keeps going down. I think that's what happens when you kind of repeat the same idea over and over. Like, people are like, okay, we get what soundboard videos are. You're boring me. But the interesting things are, like, again, when the number goes up, kind of defying gravity. That's a Wicked reference right there. So glue stick is 84%. Coiny is higher. So I think, you know, people like Coiny and Pin's friendship. So, like, hearing this...
Consult my friend Coiny. He's an
expert at that. People like that. But even more than, you know, hearing Pin hype up her own friend is setting things on fire. That is, like, even higher.
Set things on fire. The flames will solve everything.
I actually really like the artwork I drew for this one. I made it the thumbnail just because it reminds me so much of that meme of, like, this is fine and the dog is in a burning building. But then, you should just give up is at the end, 107%. Obviously, it's going to have a big spike. And you can even see that in the, like, faint white line that's, like, already visible.
You should just give up.
You should just give up. And also, I paused the music. I wanted to make it sound more deadpan. So that, like, I'm glad that I saw a spike there. I was expecting that. Oh, the stick out finger was actually quite low.
Stick out your finger.
I guess maybe that joke has been overplayed by now. But yeah, the give up definitely had a peak. And yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I can't think of anything else interesting to say. Okay. While the ad is playing, let's look at the image. Now, this video, Marker Soundboard, like, popped off the most. Like, I think I got over 100k views in the first day, which is, like, unexpected for a Humany video. And I also didn't think that, like, the actual quality of the soundboard was any better than any of the others, but I think it was just, like, uploaded at the right time because it was also around Teapot 2. But if we look at the actual data, what's interesting is the average percentage viewed is not any higher than, like, the average. Like, we're getting a little bit above 100 for each one, and Marker gets 100 flat. So that's interesting. Okay. So, let's listen to a little bit of it.
Favorite game, toss. My arms are looking bare.
Let's get tattoos of... Okay. So this one is Marker playing activities or games. And there's a lot of like inside jokes or references. And I think people like that. So, okay, let's see which ones defy gravity. Like where it goes up is interesting. Okay. So, oh, let's play this new game called Find. Obviously, like this was writing off the tales of Alex Lyon's popular Roblox game Find the Markers, and I didn't know if like enough people were going to get this. Like the idea that's find ... means it could be paired with anything. It could be find the dirt or find my precious paperclip or find my will to live. And the fact that the markers is there just is like a way to like make those two puzzle pieces that go together if you wanted them to, but they don't have to. But I think the game is popular enough that it caused a 18% boost over the previous. Now, for the objects, like, okay, subjects are first 5. With the objects, the only one that defied gravity was my will to live. Like when Marcus says, okay, I think it's funny to go from 3. Oh no, actually, here's my guess. I think that 3 got this boost not because of the game Find the Markers, but because combining 3 and 7 is really funny, which I'll just demonstrate right now.
Ooh, let's play this new game called Find My Will to Live.
Okay, I got the timing a little wrong. I kind of jumped the gun there. But yes, let's play this new game called Find My Will to Live. It's so sad. Oh, I drew this art of like him like floating up into the ether, like I don't know, like some spiritual awakening thing. But I think, yeah, that's probably what caused the boost for 3 to 7. Let's see if there's any other noticeable things. I don't know why this spike is so sharp and then it comes, like, smooths out over that, but that's interesting. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Spongy goes traveling. No ad, that's good. This one, I don't really know what there is to say. It was Spongy going traveling, and I decided to put in, like, a lame Among Us joke. Okay, I don't know how lame that is, but I just thought, like, you know, Among Us is really popular, but also it's kind of memey and cringy and, like, jokey, kind of in a absurdist way. And, like, you wouldn't expect Spongy to say it, so that's why it just felt, like, funny.
The Among Us ventilation system.
Right? The Among Us ventilation system. But what's interesting about this curve is that, like, it doesn't have this fall off. Okay, like, you can see, like, it generally goes down over the course of it. This one, it does as well, but I guess that's all at the beginning, and then it kind of holds constant for the last 8. Yeah. Also, I think because this video was like 40.001 seconds or something, it draws this line at the very end that goes to 0, but that's just like a rendering glitch. Okay, so who defied gravity? Saying, when my friends annoy me, I banish them to... So that...
When my friends annoy me, I banish them to...
That was more popular than the previous one, which was...
By riding in my spaceship, you can get to...
I guess that makes sense because, like, banishing people is funnier and more, like, actionable than just riding a spaceship. Also, I have this artwork, which I guess catches your eye a little better. I haven't really considered how much the art would play into these graphs, but that is a possibility. And who else defies gravity? Okay, this is all quite smooth at this point, but... The deepest innards of your brain. The music also changes at that point in the video, so that could also keep people's attention. Like, listen to the music here.
BP zone behind the local dumpster.
And then...
The deepest innards of your brain.
It's this song called Goofin' by Michael. I think, you know, with this and with the one with markers, My Will to Live, any sort of quote that refers to, like, not spirituality, but, like, the deep thinkings of your brain, or something that sounds like unusually serious or like contemplative for these silly characters, like, is really popular. Like, people don't expect Marker to say, where's my will to live? I don't know, I've misplaced, like, something like that. People find funny because it's just a contrast you don't expect. Okay, kind of cool. Let's go to the last one now. Match gossips about you. This one has the fewest views, but that's kind of because I released it so much later than the others. but it has longer average percentage view than Spongy's. And actually, like, these percentages are all above 100, which I did not expect. That means, like, if 89,000 people watched it, at least 89,000 people heard each of these quotes. I don't know, but, like, this downward trend is kind of, like, boring, though. The only one who defies gravity is, oh my god, this is, like, following all the patterns. 123 for 4, which is that, like, demon within my mind. Let's listen.
That, like, demon within my mind?
Is more listened to than...
That KREP annoying speaker box.
That KREP annoying, like, speaker box. Okay, this just fits right within the pattern I was saying earlier about, like, some deeply contemplative, personal, reflective thing that's also sometimes has very dark undertones, like the word demon, is going to get more attention. Everything else is kind of, like, very consistent here. Like, 115, 115, 106, 106, 103, that's, like, so consistent. There's no spikes that, like, really catch my eye. Maybe, like, I need to do that again. Like, Braceletty's was so exciting because, like, you really didn't expect that scary deserves eternal torment, right? Like, you did not expect Braceletty to say,
deserves eternal torment.
I think it's so funny. Like, Ice Cube deserves eternal torment. Like, the voice itself also changes. So, like, this big jump is, like, obvious. It's expected. But yeah, it matches, soundboard video, even though it has, like, interesting quotes, like the demon or something. I guess it just wasn't. Oh, okay. I also want to talk about, like, this 9 one is totally going to spill the tea about, or even 8 should totally play Spongy Cake with. That was my way of trying to bring back the 3-parter. Like, you know, in Tennis Ball soundboard video, there's 3 sections, but it was kind of confusing to have to, like, have 3 colors. But here you can kind of go from an object to a kind of connector and back to an object, and then you have 3 parts. So, that was, like, my goal to make things interesting. You can have Pence playing Spongy Cake with that KREP speaker box. But I think that, like, even though these are, like, functionally interesting, like, they have, like, an interesting role they're playing, they're not, like, double take worthy or, like, OMG, that's so out of left field worthy like the Deserves Eternal Torment was. So that's my take on all 7, what do you call them? Audience retention graphs. And this data is now visible to you as well through this video. Thank you for watching. One last thing I want to say is, there's actually 2. So the first one is that I think you could actually somehow use data like this as a way to hold voting. You know, you could have people, like, instead of commenting to vote or, like, going to a website or a Google form to vote, you could somehow figure it out so that, like, they press a number on a keyboard to go to a portion of the video, and then the audience retention graph is sort of the way of collecting the votes. I don't know how you would, like, calibrate it so that you don't have this, like, bias towards the early numbers, but what's interesting about this method of voting is, 1, you don't have to check for, like, bots or alternate accounts. 2, it allows, like, people to vote as many times as they're willing to sit on their computer and press the key over and over again. So theoretically, someone could cast 100 votes if they, like, sit down and press 7 100 times. Like, I don't know if that would cause the audience retention graph to really store or, like, keep track of all 100 presses. Like, I think at a certain point, YouTube's gonna, like, limit it. But I think it's an interesting way to vote because, like, the people who are willing to, like, devote a lot of time actually do have more voting power than the people who are like, I don't really care. I guess I'll vote for 7, and then they press 7 and only listen to it once. I think that's an interesting concept. It's like voting where your passion level, like, your voting power is proportionate to your passion level. So maybe I'll try some experiment like that, see what happens. Anyway, that is audience retention graphs of soundboard videos. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is that I am so grateful because somehow you lovely subscribers have gotten this garbage dump, silly, no standards channel to almost 100,000 subscribers. I'm trying to zoom in. See, Humany, we've got 99,800 subscribers. I think I'm only like 190 away from the big 100K, which would be my 4th silver play button. I have too many silver play buttons, but I'm always grateful that I'm getting another. So I posted on as a community post to this channel, basically saying what my plans are. Basically, I'm thinking about live streaming tomorrow, the exact moment it happens, and if we coordinate correctly, it maybe could happen at 11:11:11. That would be fun. So what I wrote was, OMG, OMG, guys. Thank you so much to the nearly 100,000 of you who subscribe to Humany. Wait, let me make my webcam bigger so you can see me. Hi! Okay, no, I'm just kidding. I never thought we could get this Dumping Ground channel its own silver play button. You're amazing. I was thinking it would be fun if we could reach that 10... I made a mistake. I was thinking it would be fun if we could reach that 100k milestone at exactly 11:11:22, 11:11:11 a.m. PST. That's about 15 hours from now. Now it's about 14 hours away. How's this? No, that's a BFDI quote. How's this? I could start live streaming a bit earlier, perhaps Friday at 10 a.m. PST. Not for certain. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. And then, as the time draws near, you viewers can check the stream to see whether you should unsub or sub so that it hits 100k right at 11:11:11. Such a beautiful time. I know some people in the US might have work or school at that time because it would be 11 to 2 p.m. But this also means that viewers in Europe and Africa, who are usually sleeping when I've streamed, can now participate because it'll be 7 to 10 p.m. for them. So you win some, you lose some. In the meantime, don't let Humany get to 99.9k because then it might flip over prematurely. Thanks again. And yeah, that's basically, because when it's 99.9k, because it's truncated, you don't know if it's 99,900 or 99,999. And at that point, it could flip over just by a random internet user hitting it. And we don't want to do it too early. So, if you want to participate, if you want to be on the stream 14 hours from now, feel free to see if I'm streaming. If you're sleeping, I am super sorry, but not every event can be for everyone because the Earth is always spinning and there's other sides of the Earth. But even if you're not on the stream, if and when the channel hits 100k, if you're subscribed, I'm so happy that you're part of this journey. I've been talking for a while. And I remember when I started this Humany channel, it was I mentioned it in my Karaoke H AI video of AI generates my own voice. And I would just post ramblings that were 10 minutes long and they get 1,000 views. And I remember I was stuck at 4,000 subscribers on Humany for the longest time. And then around March of the next year, so this is March 2018, I got an email to the Humany contact email account that said congrats, you just hit 10,000 subscribers. And I was just thinking that's a lot for a garbage dump channel. And I was calling a college friend at the time and I said my YouTube subscriber count for the garbage dump channel just reached 5 digits. And I think we both joked about oh, this is the last time it'll ever gain a new digit. Because if 10,000 people are willing to listen to garbage, okay, it's not all garbage now, but it could be. I might upload garbage tomorrow. Who knows? There's no way that 10 times more people would subscribe and make it 6 digits. But that, we're on the doorstep of that happening, which is just unbelievable. So thank you so much. I drew this little comic that has, me as a yellow stick figure. And then also 2 characters from the video on Jack and Jellyfy of us unboxing the silver play button. I have Pin, who's been widened, or actually not widened, but she's been squished vertically so that she could fit within the bounds of the rectangle. And we have Silvery. I don't remember how to voice Silvery. It's very difficult. But Silvery will be back and there will be 4 of him in my collection. I'm about to appear 4 times in Carrie's collection. So that'll be really fun. So yeah, I hope to see you in the live stream. And also thank you for watching this crazy data deep dive. I don't know if any YouTuber has tried something like this before. So, as someone who's trying to push the genre of soundboard videos forward, I want to show people the cool data you can glean from it. Okay, enough talking. I gotta go eat dinner now because it's 9:20 p.m. here in California. Thank you, viewers, for watching. Bye!